Matre Namaha. Now I want to give detailed description on the topic spiritual journey. Let us start with prayer. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. While spiritual awakening is often considered a journey, it's not necessarily a journey of physical travel or pilgrimage. It's a process of giving beyond your boundaries and taking the next evolutionary step. In the course of human life, few experiences can be as profound and transformative as those of a spiritual awakening. Identifying with it and directly experiencing your divinity represents a paradigm shift of the highest order. A spiritual awakening has the potential to rip apart the fabric of reality as you have known it and pull you forward into a new life of conscious growth and evolution. As the term implies, you wake up from the dream of every day, mundane material level, ego based awareness to a higher reality of spirit. And as it emerging from a deep sleep, you can see the dream of what it is, an illusion of which there can be no going back. Next, escaping ignorance. A spiritual awakening represents the lifting of the veil of ignorance or avidya or ajnana, which in Sanskrit means incorrect understanding. This ignorance shrouds your true nature and keeps you operating in the dark of lower levels of consciousness. This is a state of not knowing what you don't know. At the heart of this ignorance is tamas, one of the three gunas or primary qualities of the universe. Tamas embodies darkness, dullness, inactivity, and entropy and binds you in the physical, mental, and emotional quicksand of inertia. Fortunately, though the process of spiritual awakening runs directly counter to the currents of avidya in your life, the evolution of consciousness generates a forward pull, a momentum toward growth, transformation, and change that is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Like a spaceship achieving escape velocity, spiritual awakening punches you out of limiting gravity, well of ignorance, on toward the ultimate destination of cosmic self realization. Next, the vision of your spiritual journey, how it will be. One of the most useful metaphors for describe the stages of spiritual awakening is that of vision. In this model, 5 different qualities we can find out, which represent unique steps on the spiritual journey. They are: number one, glimpsing, the call to adventure; two, closer examination, choosing a path; three, seeking, following the path; four, loss of sight, losing the path; fifth, seeing, merging with the path. Let us explore each of these stages in a detailed manner. First, glimpsing spirit, the call to adventure. How? The celebrated mythologist Joseph Campbell defined what is known as the hero's journey, the evolutionary path of growth and transformation woven into all great myths and stories. When we quit thinking about ourselves and our own self preservation, we undergo a truly heroic transformation of consciousness. At the start of any hero's journey is the primary pushing off point known as the call to adventure. The call to adventure represents a break from everyday life, a signal that bubbles up from the subconscious, catches your attention, and leads you in a new direction. A call to adventure is the spark that triggers a spiritual awakening. Every life has a moment, if seized, that will change that life forever. The call to adventure is an awakening incident, a new perception that compels you to look at life differently. This spiritual experience can take countless forms: a trip to a faraway land, the loss of innocence, an illness, a challenge, the death of a close friend, a near death experience, or the loss of a job. Regardless of the particulars of the experience, shakes your world view and you see the world with new eyes. You are called to live the ordinary life in non-ordinary way. At this pivotal point, he teaches that you face a choice to either accept or refuse the call to adventure. In reality, though, refusing the call truly is not an option, because at the deeper level, your own soul is beckoning you to transform. If you refuse the call, thanks to your unique karmic influences, the opportunity will only recycle itself like a skip on a record. Patiently waits for your acceptance, the call to a new life. In addition, once a transformative and deeply awakening incident has been experienced, there can be no going back. Your eyes have been opened and you can't unsee the vision of the higher reality calling to you, no matter how much you might want to deny it. Number two, closer examination means choosing a path. How? Faced with the realization that your limited worldview can no longer contain your expanding awareness. You come to recognize that your life is on a spiritual journey and an awakening of your consciousness. While it can be an exciting time, this stage can also feel unsettling and unfamiliar. Everything you once accepted as fixed and stable can be called into question. You are in search of answers, a means by which you can repeat or return to the glimpse of spirit that initially shifted your perspective. At this point, you may set out to find a new way, a new philosophy, a different tradition, or practice that will help to contextualize or remap your worldview. This is when may begin spiritual exploration in earnest, often marked by a period of information gathering, self study, and delving into world religions or psychology. You are drawn to practices and methods that align with your unique personalities and dispositions. According to Vedanta, there are forms of yogas back to the unity you seek. They are Bhakti Yoga, the path of love and devotion; Jnana Yoga, the path of science and the intellect; third, Karma Yoga, the path of action and selfless service; fourth one, Raja Yoga, the path of meditation and all its related disciplines. Among these four paths, each path provides a distinctive vehicle for self discovery and realizations. Some may choose one, others may explore multiple paths simultaneously. There are no absolute or set rules for discovering your path. What matters is that it feels right for you and serves as an appropriate vehicle for growth. No one can or should tell you what path to follow. Only your own intuitive heart can guide you to what method or vehicle will suit you best. At this juncture, you would do well to remember the wisdom of the Hindu proverb that states, there are hundreds of paths up the mountain, all leading to the same place. So it does not matter which path you take. The only person wasting time is the one who runs around the mountain telling everyone that his her path is wrong. Third, seeking means following the path. The next stage calls you to be a spiritual speaker or a spiritual seeker. Having found your path, regular practice, study, and discipline serve to take you deeper toward the greater vision of expanded awareness. The Sanskrit term for the discipline of spiritual practice is Sadhana. Sadhana is a spiritual routine that takes your practice from an isolated exercise to a way of life. You are dedicated travelers on the path, familiar with its twists and turns, up and downs. As your practice deepens, you become increasingly more adept and more knowledgeable, not only of the tradition or practice of the tradition or you follow, but also of yourself. This stage is marked by the birth of self referral, the process in which your identity begins to shift from the external references to the internal reference of stillness, intuition, and higher guidance. You know yourself as a spiritual being, living a human life while fostering the progressive growth of your consciousness. As you travel their path to expanded awareness, there are two markers, two clues that hint spiritual progress is underway. The first is an increasing sense of light-heartedness. With consistent spiritual practice, happiness and joy become your ground state. You take life less seriously. Hysteria and melodrama have less influence over you. Carefreeness and detachment flow from you spontaneously, and you feel much more at ease in life. The second marker of spiritual progress in the case in which your desires are fulfilled. Regular spiritual practice removes mental, physical, and energetic blockages which obstruct the manifestation of your desires. As these obstacles fall away, life becomes easier. You step into the flow of life and experience synchronicities, little miracles, and experiences of grace that lead you closer to your life's spiritual purpose. Next, loss of sight, losing the path. The spiritual path is not without struggle, however. By its very nature, the path of awakening confronts you with your shortcomings, self deceptions, cognitive biases, and resistance to change. Growth can be an uncomfortable process at times. As your chosen path challenges you to change thoughts, emotions, speech, or behavior, to be more expansive, compassionate, forgiving, or kind, it is not uncommon to struggle with being in this world but not of it. Worse yet are the external influences that assault the spiritual seeker with the temptations to give up the quest for awakening and return to a conventional life. The most formidable challenges on the path come in form of what Campbell called threshold guardians. Threshold guardians are the barriers that stand in the way of important turning points in your life. They can be enemies, rivals, life circumstances, or limiting beliefs. So, setbacks that block your progress forward toward a higher level. These antagonists can repeatedly knock you down, test your resolve, and make you question your chosen path. Such setbacks make you doubt yourself and your commitment and may even persuade you to give up the quest. At this stage, you may feel lost or helpless, as if you have succumbed to spiritual blindness. However, what you often don't realize is that this blindness or challenges are the subterfuge of your ego, your small self that fears its own extinction in the ever expanding field of spirit. Seen in this way, your spiritual challenges are the dark nights of the soul become a spiritual teacher. Ramdas would say, grist for the mill of enlightenment. Now, seeing means merging with the path. How? At last, the seeker breaks through to a new stage, visionary, transcendent, and sighted beyond sight. At this level, you have gone beyond sadhana, you have become the practice, no longer striving to see, you exist in a state of unity in which seer, scenery, and that which is seen merge. A permanent shift has taken place and you awaken fully to your true identity, the infinite, immortal, unbounded God for existing everywhere and in everything. You wake up fully to being the divine observer, the ever present witness self of the entire universe. If you wish to live a deep, meaningful, rich, rewarding, and loving life that is full of heart and soul, beginning your spiritual journey is not only important but crucial. Understandably, you might feel a bit intimidated and lost, not knowing where to start. As someone who has dedicated a large portion of their life to the spiritual journey as well as guiding others through this, here are my tips. Some tips we can say. 1. Be gentle and go at your own pace. It's normal to feel overwhelmed and little inundated by the influx of information when first beginning your spiritual journey. My advice is to go slowly, be gentle, and go at your own pace. You don't need to know every tiny details of every field of wisdom ever created. Everyone else is just a mirror of that. So, cut yourself some slack. The key is to go gently but deeply. That's how you will learn and grow the most. Next, 2. Figure out the purpose, aim of your journey. Think carefully about why you want to begin walking the spiritual path. There are myriad of reasons why people enter the spiritual journey. For example, some people want to experience enlightenment, connect with their spirit guides, develop their spiritual gifts, find their life's purpose, taste the truth or freedom, be free of an old trauma or addiction, and so on. Keep in mind that your purpose or aim will likely shift and change as you progress through your spiritual path. This is completely normal. Your path and needs are unique to you. So, embrace them. Third, pay attention to philosophies, tools, or practices that intrigue you. Once you have figured out why you want to explore the spiritual path, simply pay attention. Notice what spiritual fields, ideas, philosophies, and practices pique your interest. The spiritual journey does not have to be something dry, monotone, and repetitive. This is a quest that ideally involves play, joy, and passion. In fact, you will likely get the most out of your spiritual path if you approach it from the heart centered place. Fourth, go deep diving. One of the main issues that often arises on the spiritual path is certain kind of spiritual materialism or spiritual window shopping. Jumping from the practice to practice can be useful at the beginning, but if we get into the addictive habit of finding the next and the best spiritual practice, tool, workshop, etc., we are doing ourselves a great disservice. We are not only approaching spirituality with a materialistic mindset, but we are also avoiding the fundamental purpose of the spiritual path to deeply transform and evolve. Once you have done some dabbling here and there, it's a time to slow down and commit to something. So, tune into yourself and figure out what sets from you your soul for. Fifth one, be aware of sharks. You will meet many people on your spiritual path. Some of these people will genuinely have your best interest in mind, but others won't. Yes, there are many spiritual sharks out there. There are sleazy snake oil salesmen and women who are intentionally out to use you for personal gain. There are also some people who are totally unaware of their unconscious shadow motivations. So be discerning. You can actually use the experience as a lesson and fuel to grow even stronger. You can actually use the experience as a lesson and fuel to grow even stronger. Sixth one, record what you have learned and experienced. We hear a lot of pretty sounding words and mystical ideas on the spiritual path, but of all of them into our being. One of the simplest ways of recording what you have learned and experienced is simply through the act of journaling. Have a spiritual journal, a diary that you dedicate to writing down your thoughts, experiences, ideas, and discoveries. You don't need to be a good writer to do this. Forget about that. What matters is that you have a solid record that you can refer back throughout your journey. There are also other ways of recording that you have learned or experienced, such as creative pieces of art of composing music. Find whatever creative outlet suits you most. 7. Integrate and embody your spirituality. It's easy to go spiritual window shopping and jump onto whatever new and exciting bandwagon emerges. But it takes much more strength of character, sincerity, and courage to actively integrate and embody what you have learned. To integrate means to absorb something into your being, to make it a living and breathing part of you. To embody means to be an expression of what you have learned, to be the change you are looking for, to infuse your life with the essence of what you have discovered. In the end, you will find that spiritual journey is like a mystical marriage between the ego, the soul, and the spirit. ओम श्रीकांताय कल्याण निधे निधेन्द्राम श्री वेंकटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम मंगलाशासनप्रैर्पदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम्.